The Shark Deck.
I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. All right, I watched Amy Schumer's special, and as I shared it in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast group, it was weird to me. It felt like a low-energy workout. If you're not familiar with the comedy term workout, that's when you go to a club and you try some new jokes. It felt like a club set. It didn't feel big. It didn't feel like a theater special, even though she's in a theater. And I caught some grief on Facebook. I kind of cattily said, I'm sure the 7-figure check means she doesn't care that I'm not loving it. It's not bad. It's just there. I had it on. It's like, okay. But it just did not feel like a big time special. I lasted 12 minutes, and then she did a joke where she had a bottle of water and started spilling it. That was during the part about the blind guy. And I was just kind of like, eh. Travis is a friend of the pod and part of the Daily Comedy News podcast group. He wrote, I watched it. It wasn't horrible, not a complete waste of time, but also nothing anyone needs to see. I think Travis nailed it just there. So I said life is too short and I needed to do something else. What did I do? I watched Sarah Silverman's special. That's on Max, the former HBO Max. Kind of enjoyed it. Wasn't amazing, but I hung out for an hour and Sarah was consistently entertaining while I also played on my phone, but she had me interested and laughing a few times, so that special's not bad at all, which leads us to the updated 2023 comedy rankings. Haven't done this in a while because I haven't watched the special in a minute. All right, currently, the funniest thing of 2023 is Kunk on Earth. You'll find that on Netflix. You should watch that. But aside from that, for stand-up specials, here we go. Number 1, Kyle Kinane. That's on YouTube. Number 2, Nate Bargatze's Hello World. That's on Amazon. Jay McBride's Daddy's Girl. Doing this from memory. I think that's on YouTube. Jim Jeffries' special on Amazon is number 4. Hari Kondabolu's is really good. That's on YouTube. Chris Rock. Remember, Chris Rock did a live special on Netflix. It's kind of a big deal. That's number 6. Number 7, The Roast of Mr. Peanut. I know you're like, what? What kind of podcast is this? Go on YouTube. Watch the full 15-minute Roast of Mr. Peanut. It's pretty good. Big J. Ogerson at number 8, and a new entry on the list at number 9, Sarah Silverman. Not on the list, Amy Schumer's new special, John Mulaney's special, Louis Black, Hannah Gadsby, Mark Maron, Andrew Santino, Bert Kreischer, and Greg Warren. All right, so I'm not just throwing anybody with a special on the list. Those are some heavy hitters who will not be on the best of lists. I also have a category called Did Not See. Roseanne's special is in that one. I'm not boycotting it. I just don't have the Fox Nation service. Speaking of Amy Schumer a few minutes ago, I didn't plan this segue well enough. Amy is not holding back when it comes to celebrities and diet trends. She was on with Andy Cohen, and they were wondering which celebrities have used Ozempic, that's the type 2 diabetes drug, for weight loss. Amy said, like a year ago, I tried it, and said she was one of those people that felt so sick that she couldn't play with her son. She told Andy Cohen, everybody's been lying, saying, oh, smaller portions. Like, shut the F up. You're on Ozempic or one of those things where you got work done. Just stop. Be real with these people. When I got lipo, I said I got lipo. I have a story for tomorrow's podcast scheduled. Someone wrote an article under the headline, Why Do People Hate Amy Schumer? And as I was researching it, if you want a little tease of what I'm going to get into tomorrow, Google Amy Schumer 2014 Gloria Awards. I was quite surprised at what I found, and tomorrow's show is going to be a little on the PG side, so leave the kids at home. Maria Bamford will have a new book out on September 5th. It's called Sure, I'll Join Your Cult, a memoir of mental illness and the quest to belong anywhere. The official description on the book website. From weird, scary, and genius stand-up comedian Maria Bamford, a brutally honest and hilariously frenetic memoir about show business, mental health, and the comfort of rigid belief systems. From Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, to Suzuki violin training, to Richard Simmons' 12-step programs. With sincerity and transparency, she recounts every anonymous fellowship she's joined, including but not limited to Debtors Anonymous, Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, and Overeaters Anonymous. Sure, I'll Join Your Cults, September 5th from Maria Bamford. Variety announced its annual list of 10 comics to watch. These honorees will be celebrated at Just for Laughs in Montreal. Some of the past names, Patton Oswalt, Amy Schumer, Tiffany Haddish, Taylor Tomlinson, Sam J, Hassan Minhaj, Nate Bargatze, Pete Davidson, Roy Wood Jr., not too shabby, right? All right, here is the class of 2023. And if you listen to the podcast every day, a lot of these names are going to be known to you. which is neither here nor there. I just thought it was interesting as I went down a lot of years. I look at the list and I'm like, I don't know who that is. But this time around, yeah, I'm pretty familiar with a bunch of them. All right, in alphabetical order by last name, Hannah Berner. Berner's videos, including her viral Hannah on the Street segments, have amassed 900 million views on TikTok alone. Curtis Connor. He has a popular YouTube channel boasting over 4 million subscribers. He just filmed his first hour special in Toronto. Zarna Garg was the winner of Kevin Hart's comedy competition Lift Comics. Garg has a special out on Amazon called 1 in a Billion. Ian Lara, currently developing a scripted comedy with Chelsea Handler's production company. His HBO special, Romantic Comedy, is currently streaming on Max. Joanne McNally is the co-host of the podcast My Therapist Ghosted Me. Leanne Morgan, yeah, her name's been coming up a lot recently. Her Netflix special, I'm Every Woman, premiered in April. Nimish Patel has written for Saturday Night Live. He self-released his special Lucky Lefty about being diagnosed with testicular cancer. Sarah Sherman seems too famous to me to be on this list. Do you know Sarah? She's been on Saturday Night Live for 2 years. Brian Simpson, host of the podcast BS with Brian Simpson. He has appeared on Netflix's The Stand-Ups. And Sabrina Wu. She was a writer on the Disney series Doogie Kamahola. You know, that's the new version of Doogie Howser. She will next be seen in the ensemble comedy Joyride. Let's stop off on Gossip Corner. Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle spotted taking a stroll together in casual style. This from one of the British papers. They were out in Soho with Dave Chappelle putting his bulging biceps on display in a black tank top. Chappelle also wore tan trousers and white sneakers. Rock kept it simple in a plain black t-shirt, black cargo pants, and white Nike sneakers. Chappelle accessorized with sunglasses, necklace, and silver bracelet, and puffed on a cigarette while walking with his friend, Chris Rock.
Lyle Hall, a cantankerous real estate attorney, has lost the ability to walk after a deadly car crash. But he has also gained something, the ability to read people's thoughts. And not just the living. When a girl's voice calls to him from inside the abandoned Old Vic, Lyle is given hope of regaining the use of his legs, but it quickly turns to fear. This ghostly girl says Lyle's daughter, a rookie detective, will die in 4 days. Can he save her? Find out on the first season of Ghosthampton, a comedy horror podcast.
If you like what I do here, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. Here's one right now. Oh, I didn't notice the National Donuts chain has put the word iced on their plastic cup. That's new. So what you do is you go to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews, throw a couple bucks in the tip jar. I will take your money. I'll go in the morning like I always do, and I'll go to the National Donuts chain. I'll pick up my large ice cough, reading the sticker here, 4 caramel swirl and 4 skim. And I'll walk over to the shelf, and there'll be a tray there, and it'll say John M. Today it was number 1481, and I will take it, and I will shout you out on the show. So buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. From newsleader.com, The Rife Effect, how Blue Room Comedy Club has dealt with the Matt Rife mayhem. A lot of hype on Matt Rife right now. He's the it comic right now. Newsleader writes, like most small to mid-sized markets, Springfield often attracts 2 types of touring entertainers, up-and-comers and fading stars. TikTok famous comedian Matt Rife is one of the anomalies. He just did 4 sold-out shows at the Blue Room Comedy Club. That's part of his 115-date world tour. Apparently, thousands of people are on a waiting list for a recently announced Washington, D.C. show by Matt Rife. Wow. Newsleader writes, with just 24 hours to prepare for the pre-sale, fans from around the world flooded Ticketmaster's sites for tickets, creating pre-sale pandemonium, many compared to the announcement of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. Hype much? Are we putting Matt Rife up against Taylor Swift? Yeah? Okay. The owner of the Blue Room, Chris Rochelle, said, it sold out within 24 hours of us announcing he was coming. Announced Taylor Swift is coming. It won't last 24 hours. Chris said, it's a cultural phenomenon. This kid is the face and voice of comedy right now. He's cracked the code and figured out how to get popular. Tickets to see Rife at the Blue Room, was a 200-seat club, went for $40. Richie said some fans were willing to pay up to $500 if he would do anything to come up with a ticket. He declined. Rochelle said multiple people have claimed to have been ripped off by ticket sellers claiming to have Rife tickets. One woman said she spent $300 on a scam. Rochelle said Blue Room doesn't use outside ticket vendors. If someone's trying to sell you a ticket, don't buy it. All right, this next story I sat on for a few days because I had other things to talk about earlier in the week, and I had it scheduled for today, and then I see an update. Let me tell you the original one. This is from the New York Times a few days back. At the Comedy Cellar in Manhattan this spring, stand-up comedian Jocelyn Chia performed a routine that she'd included in her sets for more than a year about the historical animosity between Singapore and its neighbor Malaysia. But when Chia and the club posted a clip from her April 7th set to TikTok and Instagram, there was some backlash. The 89-second video showed the comedian bantering with an audience member who volunteered that he's Malaysian, and it concluded with Chia making light of the 24 disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 with 239 people on board. Angry Malaysians flooded the comment sections on Chia's social media accounts. The Comedy Cellar received 4,000 one-star reviews on Google almost overnight. TikTok removed a clip of the joke from Chia's account, flagging it as hateful behavior. Even Singapore's Minister for Foreign Affairs weighed in, condemning Chia and apologizing for her horrendous comments in a tweet, noting she certainly does not speak for Singaporeans. In this Times article, Chia said, "I'm in no way canceled in America in any sense of the word. Now people want to come see me." Let's dive in on the material. It's an extended bit. Apparently some history here that I'm undereducated on. In 1965, the city-state was expelled from Malaysia. Chia jokes, but then 40 years later, we became a first world country, and you guys, Malaysia, what are you now? Still a developing country. Aw. She then likens the 1965 scenario to a breakup. She imagines Malaysia trying to woo Singapore back and explaining that it hasn't visited recently because my airplanes cannot fly. Then she added to laughter, what, Malaysian Airlines going missing? Not funny? Following the backlash, Chia removed the clip at the Comedy Cellar's request. That's interesting, Comedy Cellar. Then reposted it to TikTok without the club's logo. That's when TikTok removed it. She said, "I don't want the haters to think they had won and got me to back down. Audiences at the Comedy Cellar see the best comedians and they love it, so how can I be embarrassed by it?" Fast forward to Wednesday from The Guardian. Malaysian police will seek Interpol's help to track down a U.S.-based comedian who mocked the country and joked about the missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. Don't skim over that. Malaysian police will seek Interpol's help? What? Jocelyn Chia will be investigated under the country's laws relating to insulting speech and offensive or obscene online content. The police chief was quoted as saying the police would ask Interpol for assistance in finding out her full identity and whereabouts. The BBC adds that Interpol can issue a red notice, like the Netflix movie, asking law enforcement in member countries to locate and provisionally arrest those who are facing either criminal prosecution or a jail term before they're extradited. In case you're curious, Malaysia and the U.S. have an extradition treaty. Wow. That's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow.